I don't like to assume that all InDesign users have access to Photoshop. That's why I did the previous two movies showing you how to create clipping paths directly in InDesign. However, if you do have Photoshop, if you've bought the Creative Suite with Photoshop in it, then creating the clipping paths and transparent backgrounds in Photoshop and then importing the file in is definitely the best way to go. So here we have our image. It is a Photoshop file, and I'll just right click on it and choose Edit Original, and it takes us into Photoshop. Now it really is beyond the scope of this tutorial for me to show you how to do these things in Photoshop, so I'm just going to show them completed. But VTC does have some excellent tutorials on Photoshop, and I recommend you check those out. So anyway, here we have it, and it has layers just like InDesign, and the background layer is white. But the layer with the pepper on has got this checkered background, and that means it's a transparent fill. And we'll see how that works a little bit later here. So we can select this, and we'll look at two options here. One is channels. Here there's an alpha channel which just happens to be the same size and shape as the pepper itself, and that isolates the pepper. The other option we have is paths. Here I have a path called chili, and if I select it here, you can see what it is. I've got the marching ants around it. I'll get rid of those and just come in and click on it here and zoom in. Same zoom as InDesign, and there you can see that we have a path created in very much the same way as I did a couple of movies ago in InDesign. So it's the same process there. So with these, I'll just close this out. I'm not going to save it, and we'll go back to InDesign here. So now when I select this, I can go to our object menu, object layer options, and sorry, I was ahead of myself there. Clipping path options here, and here we can choose, rather than detect edges, we can choose an alpha channel. Remember we saw the alpha channel in Photoshop? Like that, clicking OK, and there it's got the path. All the work was done in Photoshop, and we just choose the alpha channel there. I'll undo that and select it, and we'll have a look at the other option there. Object, clipping path, options, Photoshop path. Clicking OK, and there we have the path. Now of course, even though this was created in Photoshop, we can come in with our direct select tool, click on it and change it and modify it as much as we want. I'm not going to do that this time, and that is the way to use those. However, there's an even better way. Let me undo those a couple of times to get back to where we started, and I'll select this, and I'm going to go back into Photoshop again. Edit Original, and here we had it. I'm going to go back to the layers. We can have the background layer, which is white, and if I turn that off, if I have masked this out beforehand and have it sitting on a transparent layer, and then I'll save it, Command S or Control S like this, close it out, back to InDesign. Look at that, it's all done there. So if you create it in Photoshop with a transparent layer and then just pop it on the page, it's going to come in automatically. In fact, it'll just automatically detect it. There's nothing to do here. I'll have red chili 2 here. It looks white in Mini Bridge, but when I drag it on here, place it on the page, it knows there's a transparent background because that layer is turned off, and you don't have to worry about it in InDesign.